Hi everyone, Catherine here from Inky Finger Cat, back with another Christmas in July. Today we have the theme of pine cone perfection, and I did this one quite late in the evening for me. It's not normal that I do evening crafting these days. I'm a early to bed girl normally, but I did this quite late in the evening, and I was all in pyjamas but then popped a cardigan on because I was a bit chilly. And then warmed up very much so during this because there was a lot of die cutting. So I used an old Stampin' Up die, which I don't use very often because it is fiddly. And you can see there, even with my lovely Platinum 6, which I love from Spellbinders, I absolutely love that die cutting machine, it did not do a clean cut. So it doesn't matter because it's still usable. But yeah, it is fiddly. So there's two layers to this die. You have this top layer, which is the really fiddly one, and then you have a bottom layer, which isn't quite as fiddly. So I did the first one from the dark green, and then this one I did from, I think it was Mossy Meadow. I don't know, the dark green is like cheap cardstock. It isn't, which won't help with the cutting, to be fair. Let's be fair. It's not just the die. Quality of the cardstock really matters too. This worked a little bit better with the Mossy Meadow because it is a thicker die cardstock and it did cut well, but also it's not as fiddly, that die. And that one goes underneath. So I ended up with the top bit being in several pieces and then the bottom piece being full, and then layered it up. Again, because it's so fiddly, it really doesn't matter if you don't get it perfect, to be perfectly honest. It's very forgiving as a final sort of piece being put together, and then I went and rescued the little bits that were still stuck in the die because there was just that little piece over in the corner, and popped something really heavy on top of it to dry with those little dots of glue all underneath in the most, solid of places of the die cut. And then I didn't completely clean it, but I did try to weed out as many of those bits of pieces of cardstock as possible before I was putting the die to one side. And then I went and chose some brown cardstock. Again, this is probably quite cheap cardstock, but it cut fine in order to make my pine cones. And I realised I needed quite a few, more than I thought I did. So this goes on for a little while. So I think I die cut the large one 3 times. The little ones, I think I did one of them 3 times and the other one twice. Turns out the little ones are almost identical, so they might even be the same. So it's absolutely fine. And I'm just adding them where I can see that the pine cone shape is on that die cut. You absolutely do not need to. And you could do this as a white die cut and then colour it if you wanted to. Not for me. That's too much fussy colouring for me to do. Not when there are some lovely dies that do the job. So yes, so I'm just working out how many I need by placing them on the top and then going out. But I did manage to cut it out of like just a quarter of a piece of cardstock. I didn't need like huge amounts of cardstock. I managed to fiddle them around and get them all on that one piece that I cut from. And then I've made sure I've got enough. And then it's just time to do a bit of a tidy up, get rid of all those bits and pieces of cardstock. And then I wanted to make the base part of the pine cones a slightly darker colour. So I popped those off to one side, and then I got my brown blending brush and then some early espresso and just did a very light coating around the die cut just so it becomes a different colour from the top bit. And it's darker and it looks like there's depth and shading to the pine cone. And then as I layer them up, probably can't see it so well on the video, but you'll be able to see it on the photos at the end, certainly. It does look like it's textured and it's got those different colours to it. I think it looks really cute. So, glued all these together first, popping them all off to one side before I then decide to just step up, zhuzh up, spruce up, I don't know the word to use, my background panel with all of those lovely pine needles on. So quick tidy up first, quick clean. Out I pop a box and I get the lettuce spritz, shimmer spritz from Kingston Crafts. Give it a good shake up to make sure that mica has gone in, has been dispersed amongst the liquid, and then off I pop to the bathroom to go and clean out the nozzle. I do not keep mine with my nozzles in. I do take them out every single time, put the sealing cap back on, and then go wash out my nozzle, including spraying it through to make sure that none of that mica gets stuck and clogged. I've had too many spray bottles that have clogged over time, so when these came with a holding lid on them, I was like, oh, genius. I'm just going to keep them with those lids on and just keep swapping them out. It also means I've now got lots of spray nozzles that I probably am never going to use, because I probably just grab the same spray nozzle every time, because every time it's being cleaned out. And that just really did up the decadence level of that background. It probably doesn't look so good on camera, if I'm perfectly honest. No, it probably doesn't show. I'm also aware my camera angle's a bit odd, or something's happened anyway with my my cutting board, and it's all gone off to the side there. But yeah, I just really love when it's got that mica sheen and shimmer on it. So I decided for my sentiment I wanted to use the Christmas from the Spellbinders sticker set. I have used the stickers on one other of my Christmas in July cards. I now can't remember which one, but I just thought, oh yeah, I'll grab that. I like the gold. And I went and die cut this sort of label panel out, and then decided, yep, that's what I'm going to stick the word Christmas to. So a little trick with, if you are stamping letters or if you are using stickers like this, is either to start from the very end where you don't want it to end, go off a page, or if you want it sort of fairly central, start with a central letter and work your way out. And that's what I did there. Quite often when I'm doing scrapbooking, if I know where I want the title to end, that's where I'll start. I don't mind if the title goes over other things, but I don't want it to be so that the end of the word is off the edge of the page. And then I was umming and ahhing about placement and decided on sort of bottom but centre. And then I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to use that Merry. I thought I had originally, but I didn't want to cut another label. And I just didn't think it was going to stand out enough against those pine needles. And then I remembered I'd got this Merry that was already die cut and stacked from a Lawn Fawn die set. And I thought, well, I could do with it being in green, but I couldn't be bothered die cutting it again. So instead, I used a Stampin' Right marker, a Stampin' Blends marker. Any alcohol marker will do for this. And I just coloured over it. Now, it's a bit patchy in places because there's obviously been some glue has dried on it. So I then thought, I could do with it also being shimmery. So I took that same lettuce shimmer spray, just used my paintbrush to dip into the bottle and added that as a layer of shimmer. Again, bit of a tidy up. I think there is some kind of like resin within those shimmer bottles. So I like to clean up quite quickly after I've used them on my mat, so I don't have to do a scraping job, because sometimes it creates some bumps. And that then was perfect as my sentiment onto the top to finish it off. So it's now Merry Christmas. I decided I wanted my embellishment to be these gold stars, and then at least it brought that gold back in a different way. And so I just added the 5 gold stars from the sticker set. Job's a good one. Because it's a dark coloured card base, I do add a little insert of white, and because it was thin cardstock, it is cardstock I've added rather than just paper. And there's my finished card. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. But it is fiddly, and I totally understand that nobody really wants to make millions of these. So, yeah, it's probably going to be a one-off to do that for Christmas. You're not going to do it millions of times. You could, but you'll end up with aching arms from all the die cutting, and you'll end up fed up poking bits and pieces of cardstock out. Hope you enjoyed that. Please do like, subscribe, and until next time, bye-bye.